Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to some more Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. Today we are diving in with the Calradia Expanded and Calradia Kingdoms beta updates that have recently hit the Discord. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description, and at the end of this video I will go ahead and show you guys exactly how to install the mod and obviously play the version I am currently playing. If you guys enjoy these install guides or enjoy these Bannerlord mod videos, please do go ahead and make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. It really helps out the channel and goes a long way, and I will obviously keep on doing the install guides if you guys want to keep on seeing them. So Calradia Expanded and Calradia Expanded Kingdoms. If you've never heard of these mods, basically what Calradia Expanded does is it goes ahead and enhances the campaign map, adds loads of beautiful kind of additions, adds loads of roads, farms, other stuff. Basically just makes Calradia come alive and is really awesome. Also adds in naval travel as well, which is a nice addition to the game itself, and I'm always a big fan of it. Calradia Expanded Kingdoms is a sub mod for Calradia Expanded that goes ahead and completely, and when I say completely, I mean completely, changes the campaign map with brand new units, factions, city placements. All of that stuff has completely changed. Another really good thing that I love that this mod does, and it's kind of a small thing, but I think it goes such a long way, is it completely changes all of the cultural events. So every faction has a completely different setup, changing with benefits and negatives. Even all the new custom factions here, so you have like factions like the Roddox, the Nordlings, the Vagir, the Palasini, the Leonians. All of these guys have completely different stats and bonuses and negatives to playing them, and it's just really cool. I love it. Again, this is kind of a small thing, but I think it just kind of adds so much flavor to each of the factions whenever you're picking the faction you want to play. And again, on top of that as well, every new faction in the game has its own unique laws, lore, and kind of why they are the way they are, why they have the type of units they have. For example, a good example of that is the Vagir. So the Vagir are a mix of Sturgian Northerners and also Battanians. So it's kind of like the Northerners have migrated south after raiding, and basically over hundreds of years, the Vagir have come about through the mix of these two cultures, and their units completely represent that. They have a very mix of Sturgian-esque kind of Slavic soldiers and more of the woodland Battanian people, and I love that. I love that, and it's the same for every single faction in this. So let's go ahead and just dive into the campaign. I'll quickly flip through this. Again, keep in mind as well that this is still a beta version. There's a reason why this isn't up on Nexus mods yet, because it is currently still very much being worked on. It's kind of buggy at the moment. There's crashes and stuff that again is all being ironed out. So do just keep that in mind if you do go over and download this. There's a reason why it's not on Nexus mods, and things are being added to go ahead and change things up. So here we go. This is the campaign map, and you can immediately see all the brand new factions. Valandia has been split into two between, I believe these are the Cortanian Valandians and the Valandian Loyalists. So there's a bit of a Valandian civil war, and again, if you want to read more about all these factions, you can do so right here. The Cortanian Valandians are well organized and eager on their ways of war, of independence from the incompetent Royalists. So there's like a big civil war right there, and again, you can do the exact same for every single faction. There's really cool ones. Being of the original inhabitants of the region of Pelsinia, have long been treated as second-class citizens, forced from their lands and used as lower labor. With the success of the Valandian wars against the Western and Northern empires, the Palasini saw their chance to rise up and take their lands back. There's just these little bits of lore in the game, which is so goddamn awesome. And again, of course, every single faction here has its own unique unit roster, as well as I believe there's 9 new mercenaries being added in this patch update, and so much more. And this is, of course, all added for 1.7.1 as well. The current beta version works for that. That's what I'm playing on, so it's been updated, as I know the old version is severely outdated. And here are a glimpse of a few things that Calradia Expanded does do. You can see just adding in the farms, adding in all the roads. It's really these small minor details that are kind of lacking from the campaign map, but it really does bring the campaign map alive. Adds in kind of more custom bridges, and just more detail kind of scattered throughout the map. And I think, as I said, it really kind of adds in. I believe this mountain right here is completely new. And there's loads of small bits of detail kind of just added in. And there's also like these random outposts as well scattered throughout. Again, I won't spoil too much there because they're always interesting to try and explore. And they kind of give you like quests. It's really cool. And yeah, you can just see kind of a more detail being added to the campaign map. As I said as well, before we do go ahead and take a look at the units and stuff, there is naval travel in the game. So you can move around the sea freely and you kind of get into this really cool looking boat. And as you can see as well, there is like, you know, new settlements being added as well. You have this little island faction, and this is just a one-off faction right now. Basically, the previous king of emperor of the empire lost this in a bet because he had loads of debts or something to a certain house. Again, the lore just fits so well. And yeah, it's just really cool to kind of move around the sea. If you do end up fighting a battle in the sea, you will just get dragged into a land battle, so there is no naval combat. But again, you know, you can still just move around. It makes kind of trading a bit more interesting, I think. Something that I would actually like to see is if you ever, whenever you do enter this mode, it'd be kind of cool if your expenses like increase dramatically. You know, whenever you are at sea, like, you know, the transport cost of your men and all your goods and stuff would go up. Like your upkeep would just go up, you know, considerably whenever you're at sea. I think that'd be quite a nice addition. But yeah, the campaign map again has tons of more detail as well, but you know, bits I just haven't looked at. You know, yeah, there's tons of bits that maybe I just haven't even explored. So you can go ahead and obviously take the time to do that and really check out all the detail and everything else that has been added with that. But yeah, back to Calradia Expanded Kingdoms, we can take a look at some of the unit trees. We'll run through these kind of quickly because I'm sure you guys, you're going to sit here and want to look at every single one. But yeah, all the unit trees have been completely redone. It's using the open source armory mod, which you're going to need, and again I'll show you at the end of the video how to install that. But you can get a real good glimpse of all the units and the rosters. And one of the things that I like is that these rosters aren't bloated. That, you know, they're down to the point. They really show the units, the faction's strength and kind of what they're all about. You know, the Valandian factions are very much about the heavy armor, the elite cavalry. They have some, you know, they're basically kind of decent tiers, and yeah, they're okay, nothing too crazy. And if we go down to the Valandian Royalists, you guys can see the differences in that as well. So these are going to be the Valandian Royalists, and you can see their type of units. They also have Sturgian Clansmen. I'm not sure if they're supposed to right now. Again, keep in mind, this is a beta build of it. I think they're supposed to have a Rodok serf. So again, you can see the differences. The Rodoks are very similar. You know, they're still Sturgians. They're still, you know, the same as their Northern brethren, but their unit rosters do vary a little bit. You have the Rodok line right here. They kind of got more of the tower shields and the crossbows, and they also have a pretty gnarly noble troop line as well. Which we go over here. So yeah, you can see they actually don't have access to cavalry outside of their noble troop line. Right there, you can see some more of the Rodoks as well. They actually have no cavalry here. I guess maybe they need mercenary cavalry. But yeah, you can see some of the awesome Rodok units right there. Yeah, I wonder where the Valandia here gets their cavalry from then, if it's not in their base troop line. Yeah, maybe this is supposed to be more of a cavalry line or something, because I don't think the Valandians down here to the south should have Sturgians, but maybe, again, it's part of the lore and they have mercenaries from them, and that's why they show up, maybe. But yeah, really cool stuff right there. Then if we go over to the Britannian units, which, yeah, they are actually called Britannia. So yeah, you go over to Britannia, and you can see their roster, again, heavily focused in on the Britannian Thanes, and they also have the Kinsmen as well. We'll give it a second, let some of these units load. And then we go, the roster has loaded again, you know, pretty basic. You have the Britannian Oathsworns, you have the Falxes, you have some skirmisher infantry, and again, some more wild bowmen. Again, all with very, you know, kind of additional armor and just kind of added bits added to them. Then you have the Vigir. These are a faction of a mix with the Britannians and Sturgians. So the Vigir tribesmen, you can kind of see they have that aesthetic of like Britannians, but mixed with more of a Northman. They have, you know, relatively heavily armored bowmen, and then horse archers as well, looking really cool. Then as we go over to the Palacini, again, these are very much kind of like Empire-esque soldiers, got kind of more of a barbarian feel to them, mixed in with the Empire. Again, looking, you know, really, really cool. Again, keep in mind as well, every one of these factions do have very unique noble troop line as well. I'm just going to go and find it for everybody. Then we have the Empire factions, who currently don't have anyone to recruit there. Yeah, then we have the Empire factions. Again, kind of varying, kind of more imperialistic unit line. They're going to have really strong, heavily armored units. You know, they are the big empires. You can see their crossbowmen looking amazing. You know, Imperial legionaries, head to toe, ready for combat. And they have an absolutely gnarly noble horse line as well. And I believe both the Empire factions have the same troop tree. Yeah, both Empire factions do have the exact same troop tree. There's no differences right there. The Sturgian lines up here to the north. So we have the Sturgian faction right here, who I believe are more Viking-esque. Yeah, I think these are more Viking-esque, whereas the Sturgians are obviously more Slavic, I believe. And you can see that in their unit line as well. Looking very nice indeed. All the differences set across that. As we go over as well, we'll take a look at the Kuzites. I think the Kuzites roster is still relatively similar to what it is in vanilla, just sort of a few additional units being added. Yeah, you can see their unit roster has been kind of cleaned up a little bit, but still you're going to kind of resemble the same similar one right there. But then we obviously have the other faction down here to the south, which has again a completely different unit roster that they can mess around with. So they're gonna have access to crossbows. They kind of have more of these like javelin units with maces and the other kind of units right there scattered in. And then finally we have I think we actually have 3 factions in the Azerai lands as well, which is always really interesting, I think. So again, you can kind of see the Leonian hoplites, and again, these factions are very much a mix of cultures. I believe these are like soldiers that have been left over from the Empire invasions. So there's kind of like a real kind of culture dive right there. I mean, you kind of have more of like a Greek faction right here. Again, looking very cool with all of its unit rosters. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this completely changes up the campaign, and this is probably one of Bannerlord's greatest mods out there, I think, and I'm so happy that people are taking the time to actually update this to 1.7.1, because yeah, it's really, really a gem of a mod, and if they can fix out a lot of the bugs with the new updates to Bannerlord, the performance updates to 1.7.2, this is going to be definitely one of the mods you're just always going to want to play, because there's just so much going on. And one of the things I really like about this mod as well, and one of the things I think is a big problem with Bannerlord at the moment, is that nothing really changes in Bannerlord. There's no one empire getting really strong and taking everybody down, and I understand that was a problem in the past with the Kuzites, but I don't want every campaign to basically be a stalemate for 1,000 turns. I want to see big empires rise and fall, and it's just really cool, and I think this mod goes ahead and really embodies that, because when factions start to get big, it doesn't mean that they're unstoppable, because there's so many small factions that could all gang up. And if you use mods like diplomacy, where you can form alliances and go to have these big wars, then it just adds so much more flavor. And it basically means anything can happen. Every single campaign can be different, because multiple factions can team up on one person, or maybe they're more friendly, but it just kind of really changes the dynamic of the campaign every time. And that's something that vanilla Bannerlord really needs to address, because I don't want a stalemate for 1,000 days in my vanilla banner campaigns. I want factions to rise and get really powerful, because it makes the late game more enjoyable than just killing basic size factions. But yeah, cool. That's gonna be the mod right here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you are dropping off now and you're not sticking around for the install guide, please do make sure to go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below. But now, for those of you who want to know how to install this, it's super easy. Let's jump over and yeah, take a look. Okay guys, let's go ahead and show you exactly how to install Calradia Expanded and Calradia Expanded Kingdoms. So, first thing you're going to need to do is make sure that you are on 1.7.1 for Bannerlord. By doing that, all you have to do is right click on Bannerlord, go to properties, go to betas, and select 1.7.1 right there. If you ever want to go back to the vanilla patch, which is currently 1.7.1, but in the future it won't be, all you're going to have to do is just click none, and it will get you up to date with whatever the normal patch is. Then also make sure you go ahead and verify the integrity of your game files. It's really important you do this, as it will basically clear through all the external mod files that maybe you have lingering around that could cause you to crash, and this will give you a clean slate. Then what you're going to want to do is go ahead and join the Calradia Expanded Discord. This is where you're going to download the files until they're up on Nexus Mods, whenever the mod itself is stable. Once you're in it, you're going to want to go down to downloads, and you're going to want to go ahead and download both the Calradia Expanded Kingdoms official version for 1.7.1 and also the Calradia Expanded version as well right here. So download both of these files. You can just click them and then click the download button. And I'll show you guys, I guess, how to do that just in case you're having trouble. So go click that and then click the download icon up here, and that will get it downloaded. Okay, now that you've got both the files downloaded and you should have them in your download section, again, open them using something like WinRAR. That's what I always use. It's free and it's super easy to use and download, so make sure you use that, or 7-zip or whatever you're using. Basically, have the files and go ahead and open them so that you can unpack them. Then once you've got that, you're going to want to find out where to actually install them to. So by doing that, all you have to do is right click on Bannerlord, go down to manage and click browse local files. That is going to go ahead and open up your Bannerlord folder right here, and when you go into modules, then super simple, all you're going to have to do is go ahead and drag and drop the files in. So basically just select them and then drag and drop them. They'll put them in. Obviously I've already got the mod files, so it's going to tell me I don't need to replace them, but obviously you shouldn't, so it should just drag and drop and you should have no problem. Also, I actually forgot to mention, you do need open source armory, because this is the mod that has all the armors, all the custom armors in. So again, go over to the link in the description. I'll leave a link down below, and obviously you need an account on Nexus Mods, but it's completely free. You don't have to pay for anything. So just create a free account, then go over to this, go to the 1.7.1 stable version, click manually download, and go down and click a slow download. That should go ahead and create another folder for you, like we just had with the download section of the other mods, and then all you do is do the exact same thing, drag and drop it in. Then when you have all the files dropped in there, you should be able to go ahead and just open your files. You do need to have Harmony, of course, and again, I'll leave a link to that mod down below in the description. You just install it the exact same way we installed all the other mods. So yeah, you need Harmony at the top, and you want to drag that above native. So make sure you have Harmony right above native. Then you have Calradia Expanded below all the default Bannerlord mod folders. Then Open Source Armory, and then Calradia Expanded Kingdom. So basically, your mod load order should look something along this line. So yeah, it should basically be these mods right here, and that's how it should look. So make sure you have the exact same load order. Again, your launcher is going to be a little bit different to mine. I have a custom one, but yeah, it basically should look like this, and then all you have to do is go ahead and click play and launch it up. The game should load up perfectly. You should see this open source armory right here. Again, this is on 1.7.1. And then you should be able to just go ahead and dive in, click sandbox mode. It might take a little while to load when you do click sandbox mode, just solely because the game, has to kind of, process all of the open source armory. So the first time you do this, it might take a little while, but as long as the game doesn't crash, you should be good just to wait as it kind of loads through all the custom armors, all the changes that Calradia Expanded Kingdom does make. It's just going to be processing through this, and as I said, as long as the game doesn't crash, you should be good, and then boom, you're good to go. Again, keep in mind that there might be some crashes and some other issues, but yeah, you just have to kind of work through it, and yeah, basically enjoy, have fun with this. Again, I highly recommend you go over, help them, give them feedback, let them know about crashes, so that we can get this version up to date and out there, because it is truly probably my favorite Bannerlord mod out there. It is, yeah, absolutely amazing. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Again, if you found this install guide useful, please do go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.